We have a 2009 Honda Civic. This car has a loud humming noise. It sounds like a bearing. So if you have a similar noise, it's gonna be a bearing, and we're gonna show you how to do this job. Let's drive this car and listen to this. You hear that? It's very, very loud. The faster I drive, the faster it will be. That's a bearing, bad bearing right there. So we're gonna take this car back to the shop, and we're gonna lift this car up and see if you can feel it. We're gonna spin the tire and see if you can pinpoint the problem, and we'll lift this car and spin the tires one by one. And sometimes you can fix one bearing, there's another bearing bad, which you can't hear, but usually we explain that to the customer before we do the work. Alright, so let's go back to the shop and we'll continue the video once the car is up in the air. Alright, I'm still driving the car, going back to the shop, but listen to this. This bearing is super duper bad. Alright, we're back almost to the shop. Alright, we're gonna go inside the shop and we're gonna lift this car up in the air. Civic up in the air. We spun all the tires. I want to show you guys. If I spin this tire, you're gonna hear the noise a little bit. Can you spin it on the other side? Spin it. It's hard to hear it, but when it's in the roar, the rotor. You hear that noise? We can hear a bearing in here, alright? So this bearing is definitely bad. This noise is not coming from any of the other wheels except this one. And like I said, it could be a small little noise in the other bearings, but this is what's gonna eliminate that loud noise. So we'll remove this tire first. Do next is we'll remove this axle bolt. We're gonna get the socket for this. We're going to remove this cotter pin here, take out that bolt, remove the tie rod. We'll hammer it right there. This should fall out. In the bottom, we'll remove these 3 bolts for the ball joint right here. These 3 bolts, and that should come down with it. And then also we're gonna remove this number 10 here for this. Sometimes these sensors don't want to come out, then we'll fish it from the firewall and bring it back, the whole sensor with it. We'll remove that. We'll remove these 2 right here that holds the strut and the spindle together. We're gonna remove the caliper, the bracket, and the rotor just to make it loud. We're gonna remove everything pretty much here. By removing the cotter pin here, and we're gonna remove that tie rod bolt. That way we can maneuver around the spindle. That will make it easy for us. So get that cotter pin out of the way. You can break it, pull it out of there, and use a new one. And we'll use that look like a 19, so we're gonna knock that out with a 19. Okay. Alright, next we'll hammer this spindle right here and we'll remove that. Let that tie rod fall out. There you go. Now what we can do is we can move this anywhere we like. And what we'll do next is see if we can let's turn this. We'll remove this number 10 here. Let's see if that, sometimes that 10 is jammed up. You don't want to break it either. See, feel it if it budges, and if it opens up, and just get number 10. And let's see if that comes out, and let's see if you get this sensor out of the way. That's the main thing. If that bolt comes loose, so they're very, sometimes even the bolt itself is jammed up, it doesn't want to come out. If this sensor come out, we're pretty lucky. Let's see if this sensor comes out. I guess we're not lucky. Give me a needle nose plier. So this is jammed up a little bit. Sometimes I like to hit it a little bit. Alright, so let me see if this thing comes loose. I like to use needle nose and see if it moves. There you go. No, I'm going the other way. If this doesn't move, you're gonna get it out from the other end. Alright, this is not gonna move, so too bad for us. What we'll do is we'll follow this cable all the way. This should be down here, connector, we'll remove that. So that's the last thing we're gonna do. Or you wanna do it first? So what we'll do is we'll remove this. Alright, so we're gonna remove this little cover out of the way. Not the whole cover is gonna come out, so we're gonna just take it apart and put it in the bottom. Just those two clips on the top. And now what you can do is pull this and just stick it in down here somewhere. And there's a connector here. This is what we're going to. Now you have to open it from the back first. Open it. Okay, so you can disconnect that and open up the little connector where the clip holds. Yeah, that's normal. That thing fell down. Because what it's gonna do is we're gonna take this, it holds and clips in. So when we put it back, we're gonna put it in there and stick it back up. Easy. So we'll take out all the routing on this cable. There you go. We have the sensor loose a little bit here. It's just hanging there now. What we'll do is we're gonna remove this caliper next. So we'll just take that. We'll remove this number 12 here and a 12 up here. They're different sizes. I don't know why. So what we're gonna do is just remove this 12, lift up this caliper, and put it to the side. Alright, so we can use a screwdriver to lift this caliper out, or a pry bar. Our customer bought his own brakes, so we'll put the brakes on this side for him. And I'll make another video on this brake job. So if you have a 2009 Honda Civic, you know how to change the brake pads. So what we're gonna do is remove the brake pads out of there. Remove the brake pads, and after that we'll take out the bracket bolts in the back. They're 17. So what you do is you take the brake pads, you remove the brake pads, and now we're gonna take out the number 17s in the back here for the bracket 1 and 2. We're gonna remove both of those. That's a 19 or 17?
17.
All right. So you take a 17. Remove both of those. And this bracket should come off. Next, we'll take out the rotor. This little screw here. It's supposed to have 2 here, but it has 1. There you guys loose. And we'll get a Phillips screwdriver and we'll turn the little screw out of there. And you should be able to get this caliper, the rotor out. Sometimes you have to hit it from the back here. And what we'll do next is we'll take out this bolt, the axle bolt. There you go. What I like to do is, once you have the bolt out, I like to push this back so that axle moves. So this one budges a little bit, so it is moving. What we'll do next is we'll take out these 2 bolts. These hold the strut with the spindle. We'll also take out the 3 in the bottom that holds the bolt joint. So this is number 19 with the 17 in the back. So what you can do is put an impact gun and grab it with the wrench in the back. So you need a 19 and a 17 wrench. 1. Make sure you keep everything in order. Keep all the bolts in order. Alright, so the second one. What we'll do is we'll leave this bolt in there for now, because we're gonna take out the bottom and we're gonna get that bolt joint out of there, and this will hold it up for us. So in the bottom you have 3 17s. These 3 bolts, they hold on. The bolt joints are bolted on to the control arm. That's 2, and there should be a 3rd little nut. So you got 2 nuts and 1 bolt. Make sure you keep them somewhere separate. Maybe put them on the floor, because you know they go in the bottom. Now we have everything loose. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna try to get this out of there, and then maybe not hammer, but push this axle back. What we'll do is we'll get that out first, the top bolt. Once that out, this should be a little loose. You don't want to drop it on your feet, so you do not let it go. At this point, what we're gonna do is we're gonna push the axle back. You could take a hammer and hit it a little bit, but you want to put a punch right in the center. Just like that, the axle should come out once you punch it. So we have everything out. We're gonna lift this out of the ball joint. It's gonna come out of the control arm. We're gonna take it over to the other end now. All right, so what we have here is this is the bearing inside here. You have the hub in there, and this is the sensor that did not come out, and the sensor comes out on the other end here. It reads the magnet strip on the bearing. I'm going to show you the new bearing we have. It has a magnet strip around it, and what we're going to do is grab that bearing, and we're going to show you there's a little. So you don't want to put this bearing the wrong way, because if you do put it the wrong way, you're gonna have the ABS light on, and if you damage the sensor, you're still gonna have the ABS light on. So what we're gonna do is, let me show you the bearing here. You see this metal side here? Let me see the opposite side. On the opposite side, it has a little black strip. You see that? It's not that strong a magnet, but you can feel it's grabbing onto this. So if I put the bearing, this metal little screw here, it grabs onto that. So that's the magnet side. So when you put it, this bearing compresses from the opposite side. Make sure the bearing strip is gonna come towards the ABS sensor, towards this way. So as you're compressing it, it's gonna come out this way. All right, so what we're gonna do is, we're not gonna touch this, the ABS sensor, and we're not gonna try to damage it. So we're gonna get this hub out of there first, somehow, some way. Usually the way we do it is, we'll put a socket here, we'll hit it with the hammer, it should fall right out. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna take this socket here, we're gonna put it there. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but we're gonna show you something that you can do at home. Don't hurt yourself, don't hit your fingers, don't hit that ABS sensor. So what we're trying to do is, we're trying to take out this hub out of there right now. So we're gonna hit this. Go ahead. It's gonna take a lot of hits. Let me hit it. Let me hit it, because I'm right-handed. You're left-handed. Hold it, right? Yeah. All right, you see that hub is going down? That's what I want. I want that hub to go down. Try to keep it more forward. Alright, that's all I want, this hub to go down, and I want to be careful with our feet. It's going down. I don't want it too hard. There you go. The hub is out. This is this little hub here we were trying to take out. See this bearing race? It's normal for it to come out. I see a lot of markings here that I've never seen before on any of the bearings. So this bearing is stupid bad, super bad. All right, let me show you. See the markings there? I've never seen that usually. So this bearing has been super bad. That little markings all around. All right, so what we're gonna do next is, we're gonna put this new bearing to the side for now. Bring this here. On the opposite side, no, this side, there's a retainer in here. We're gonna remove that retainer. So we're gonna get our retainer ring to remove that retainer. Once we're done, we're gonna make sure we put that retainer back in there. We got the retainer. Sometimes this thing is jammed up. What we're gonna do is we're gonna probably put some spray around this, and we're gonna use a flathead screwdriver. We're gonna try to tap it first. Not too much. No, that's way too much. Just spray a little all around. You just gotta. That's it. That's it. That's enough. All right. So get a flathead. Clean a little bit around the edges of this the retainer ring. Over time, these seizes up. That's normal. So what we'll do next is we're gonna put this here. Get the hammer. Just be careful with your ABS sensor. Let's see where the ABS sensor is on this. So the ABS sensor is somewhere here on this side. What we're gonna do, he's gonna hit that a little bit. try to get it out of the spot. Yeah, that one is loosened up. It loosened up. There you go. All right. Yeah, if we can try to hit the other side too. There you go. It's loose. Let me get that flathead. So we'll try again with the retainer, and I'm gonna try to grab it with this, with the retainer or plier, and I think we have it up. There you go. There you go. We have the retainer out. We'll clean the surface of the retainer with the buffer. We'll put this because we're gonna reuse that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some WD-40 all around here. Put WD-40, spray that. Any type of lubrication, penetrating oil. Put it all around here. There you go. That should be enough. That's it. All right. We'll take this over to the bearing machine over there, the press over there. Since we took out the retainer from this side, the bearing is gonna press out this way. So it's gonna press up or this way. So we're gonna push it from the back end. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this bearing here, flush. Don't worry about that. I don't know, put it down there. We have a perfect surface on this. So that's there. What we're gonna do next is we'll use what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift this up so it's more closer to this. It was we raised one level up on this, so this is more close to the. Sometimes we like to keep a lot of extras. So in this case, we have a lot of extra. We have bolts. We have a few things that fits here. And this is what we're gonna do. No, we're gonna use this. This is the axle, one of the old axle bolts. This fits perfect in there. We'll get that socket. Get that socket. We should be able to put a socket there. You always want to be careful and use safety glasses with the compressed tools. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put one little bolt. We'll put an axle, not an axle. Keep saying axle. Let's see what fits best here. Good fit here. We're away from the ABS sensor there. We're not gonna go near that ABS sensor. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can compress this now. Don't worry, push it. Alright, stop. What we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this plate here. You got 3 little screws, they're jammed up, so we're gonna use white script to remove it, loosen it up. There you go. We did that to these two, and the reason why I want to take this out because this is bothering, so that's why we bring it back from the compressed machine. So we're gonna remove this 1, 2, 3. Just make sure you put it back the same angle. Keep the bolts somewhere safe and make sure you put it back the same way. This is facing between these two, where the bolts for the caliper bracket goes. Tap a little bit. So we have that out. We're gonna take it back to the compressed machine now. This ABS sensor is out of the way, and we're gonna pump this thing. You wanna use safety glasses. You wanna be careful, because a lot of times something might fly off, hit you in the eye. You don't want that. After a few pumps, this thing should be going down, okay? normal. The bearing already compressed down there. It's going down. At the end, it's just gonna fall off on the bottom down here. So you don't want to put your hands in the way. But we do want to get that old bearing, and I want to have it in my hand because we're gonna use it to compress the new one in there. So the ABS sensor is all there down there. It's not being bothered. Alright, once you have it, it should go down smoothly and easily. Keep on. Should be like butter now at this moment. There you go. And we have the bearing. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna keep this here. We're gonna come back to this. I want it clean in here, nice and clean. Alright, so we're gonna clean this and we're gonna come back and we'll put some grease in there. Alright, so you want everything clean. Clean all the debris off the ABS sensor, but just don't damage the ABS sensor. Don't hit it with anything. Don't scrape it with anything. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna clean this up good and come back. ABS sensor is down here. Remember the ring? Magnet ring goes down. I have this perfectly flat leveled, and I use the old bearing in the bottom. And I am going to press this. So I want this to be in the center. I got everything aligned, and what I'm going to do next is use the other one. That's garbage. There's another one there. The one that says Toyota on it. Alright, so I am going to align this perfectly as possible. And once I have this lined, I am going to press this bearing all the way. So once this gets to the bottom of this, it's going to stop, and that's it. You don't want to force it too much. And I got this leveled, and the retainer will go. Bearing in there. This ABS sensor is still good, and this is flush. Now this retainer in, you have to put this in. You forget this, that's it. The bearing might move out of its place. Make sure you clean it like we did this one. We cleaned both sides. And I am going to try to work with one hand here. I gotta get this retainer in there, and that's it. Make sure it clicks in there. So this one is the one in there, since we cleaned it up good, so it's sitting on its spot. So next, what we're going to do is, right now, make sure you put this plate in next, because if you forget this, it's not going in, because the hub goes on the top. You're gonna compress the hub in there. But off the camera, I'm gonna try to make sure I got this retainer in there. So yeah, it is in there, so I don't have to worry about it. The bearing in there, the retainer's in there. We're gonna put that cover in there also. But this old hub goes in there. You could put a new hub in there. And what I am going to do here is I am going to cut this a little bit, and I'll make another video on that one, and I'm gonna remove this race of this old one. Show you guys the hub. Can you give me the hub over there? The hub? The hub, let's call the hub. Got grease on it. Alright, so I removed the little race here, and I'll put some grease on this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this over to the compress machine again and compress this hub into the bearing. Do one of this out of the way so we have more room. We got this bearing. Let me see the opposite side. this bearing is gonna sit there flush and it's not gonna hit that ABS sensor, right? This is the same bearing we took out. So make sure you have it flush, nice and even. And once you have it nice and even, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, grab this, I have to do something. And we're gonna put that in there. Make sure you put a bearing in the bottom with the race, because the new race will fall out if you don't do that. All right, so this might not be what we're gonna do is, because we don't have enough kilometers, we'll put this in there, or we'll put this one in there also. Hold on, I don't want to put all that. I just want to make enough, so because this thing gotta go all the way down. I think that should be enough right there. Go ahead. So we're gonna get this thing all the way in there. So he got it all the way almost. So we had a customer had to stop. So that's it. You pump this, it's gonna compress till you feel it stop. That's it. It stopped, and that's it. You're done. We're gonna take this over and put this on the car. See that? The ABS sensor is in there. The ring is there for the magnet. Yeah, we're gonna put this on. So what you do is you can either stick the axle in there or the ball joint first. From here on, just a reverse procedure. Get the axle in there. It should come out through this hole here. Alright, just push it in there. The axle should go all the way in there. We'll put the bolt on later on. I put the bulging nuts in there before it folds. Alright, you got that in there. So we got one of this in there. This is gonna hold it for us. So we'll put this bolt in first. Alright, and put the nut on, and then this will go, one goes in the bottom. Make sure you put them both. There you go, the nut on the other end. Alright, so in the bottom, we're gonna put the two nuts and one bolt. Use the socket. Something is it? Make sure you catch the threads. Alright, now we'll take a number 17 with the gun and we'll tighten those. From here on, make sure you tighten everything, okay? Don't leave anything behind. That's that. Now we'll come up with the number 19. We'll tighten the two bolts that go in the spindle here. Use a 19 with the 17mm wrench in the back. Next, what we'll do is we'll leave that thing hanging there, and we'll put the rotor on. Let's put the axle bolt on next. We'll get that out of the way. So once you put this bolt on, and the bolt is gonna pull the axle in for you, and make sure it's right in this perfect spot. You gotta hold it like that with one hand. That's it. Now you make sure you tap that to lock in that axle bolt. We'll do that at the end, okay? We'll put the rotor on next. Here. So we're gonna put the rotor on, and one of the little screw that goes in there. So that's in there, and we'll put the brake bracket on next. So this customer bought new brakes. We're gonna put the new brakes on. He's gonna set up the hardware kit there. And we're gonna put the two number 17s in the back. You can open that. You can just pull it. It's tied right out. You can just twist that.
What?
It's loose. It's loose, remember?
What's loose?
The tie rod's not there. We can move it all around.
Oh.
That was the whole function of that. Alright, so if you have that in there. Alright, so we're going to tighten those two bolts. Make sure you tighten both of these bolts here. This one and that one. So you take your number 17 and you tighten it. That's it. Alright, so we'll put the new brake pads on. And then we can put the caliper in there. We might have to compress the caliper. He already compressed it. Alright, there we go. We have the caliper in there. And make sure you put in the number 12 bolt that goes here. So if you're gonna get that ABS line in there, you just gotta route it back where it belongs. And what we're gonna do is, you got it in there already. It goes into that little zigzag, and then it plugs on to the bottom. Make sure you plug it in. And that little clip, the little retainer, make sure you put that in. That thing grabs on the back and clips on in the front. It should go click just like that, and that's it. So we have the ABS in place. What we'll do is next is we'll leave this caliper here for now, and we're gonna put this tie rod in here. We're gonna put that tie rod in, and we're gonna put the number 17 bolt, the nut. 19. So So this job is pretty much done, all right? So we take that number 19. And that's it. And make sure you put the cotter pin in. We'll do that later on. And you have a cotter pin there? We'll put the cotter pin in right now. Put the cotter pin in and then fold it. Alright, so that's done. Now we have a problem with this little caliper pin. I'm gonna let the customer know. But meanwhile, we have no option but to put that. We're gonna try to hit that out of there. Remove these brake pads. We're gonna have to remove the new brake pads because with impact they're moving and they're gonna come out. So I'm gonna hit that a little bit. So this is not part of the job, and all right, he's gonna do that, and we'll come right back. We can put some grease on these brake pads. And we're gonna lock up the caliper, and that's the last thing we can do. And what we'll do is we'll put the number 12 bolt on the floor over there. So close up the caliper, and then don't forget to hit that with a punch. So what we'll do is we'll hit that with a punch next. Let them lock up that bolt in the back. So we got everything done on this side. Everything done. The bolt joint is tight. All right, use the ratchet. Use the ratchet. So he's gonna tighten that up, and that's it. All right, that's done. And then let me hit this. Let's hit this. Get a hammer. And a punch. This is gonna lock up the axle. You always want to hit that. All that does is it bends in the little groove. And that's it. Once you have that in, you're done. And now we'll put the tire on and we'll take this car for a spin. Back in the Honda Civic, and I'm driving this car. And the car feels smooth, and no more of that loud rumbling noise like a jet taking off. Alright, so if you have this kind of noise, it's a bad bearing. You just gotta pinpoint which one it is and just take care of that bearing, you know, and that should get rid of that noise. So I'm gonna go back to the shop. I'm driving this thing almost like 40 miles per hour, 30, and no more noise. All right, that's it. I'm back in the shop.